What's going on, guys? I'm Mighty back again with the weekly Rust Skins videos, and this is what the limited stores top sellers are looking like for this week. We have the Deep Ruby AR in at number 1, followed by the Ice Garage store, which is technically at number 4, but for the limited store, it is at number 2, and the Black Diamond Sleeping Bag in at number 3 for the top 3 of the limited store items. So let's get started with the clothing and armor, and we will get started with the Bombshell Backpack, going for $3.05. This is a continuation of TGG's Bombshell collection, which he gets a skin in, I think, like once every 6 months or something like that. But overall, I am glad that that German guy has gone this route with his bag skin instead of the same as his armor, because honestly, I'm not super keen on the orange flames. I think it just makes the skin itself a little bit, it's just too much. There's too much going on. But sticking with the actual bomber kind of theme, I think these kind of styled skins do look much better in my opinion. So the only one critique I'll give the backpack skin for the Bombshell is the fact that the original backpack skin is just a green camo backpack as well. So it's like, it is still very different to the original default backpack skin, but I don't know, I just think it does make it a little bit harder to want to be buying a skin for a green skin that is green. Just food for thought, but I do still think it's a nice skin. It would have been interesting, like, just to see what it would look like with these two colors flipped, where the dark gray was swapped with the green and the green was swapped with the dark gray, just to see like how that would look. But the Bombshell backpack is going for $3.05, which I guess is like standard sort of price for backpack skins, I'm pretty sure. The Bombshell collection itself has had a rocky run where a lot of the stuff is up, but also a lot of the stuff is down. But all of the clothing and armor is up, whereas a lot of the weapons are down. I do think that the Bombshell backpack will make you money and be somewhat profitable. I don't think it's going to be crazy profitable, but I do still think that it does have potential of making you money. For the limited store backpacks on the Rust store that have been released so far, there is 4 that are cheaper than this one on the community market. So it does show you that the Bombshell backpack is likely going to perform decently compared to those backpack skins, in my opinion at least. Also, the fact that it's going for $3.05 instead of like $5, or around that kind of price point, I do think that's also a plus. It's going to make it a little bit easier to invest in the Bombshell backpack, in my opinion. So overall, you could try and get this for a buy order off the community market to maximize your potential profits, but you will want to be having your buy order placed as early as possible. And seeing as though I'm uploading this video a bit late, then yeah, that is probably something you want to try and get on top of straight away, right after watching this. So do with that information what you will, but we'll move over to the Ultramarine gear. And I'll just start with the helmet first. The Ultramarine helmet, it doesn't say coffee can helmet, which in my opinion isn't great, but I think these days it doesn't matter too much. But we do have the Ultramarine coffee can helmet for the road sign kit. We have had Ultramarine skins come out already, and the collection itself is actually doing well. Everything is above standard sort price, so it's obviously doing quite well for itself. You do have to keep in mind, of course, it is Christmas time, so skins are up in value at the moment. I don't think this collection would be performing as well as it is if I were checking the prices in November, for example. But look, as I said, the Ultramarine stuff is all up at the moment, so that is a plus. The prices, on the other hand, we do have the helmet going for $2.30, whereas the road sign vest and the kilt are both going for $3.05. So will I recommend investing in the helmet? Look, overall, I recommend investing in the helmet over the road sign jacket. However, I'll recommend investing in the Ultramarine kilt over the helmet. So in order, I'll recommend investing in the Ultramarine kilt, then the helmet, then the vest. But moving over to the Ultramarine kilt and the road sign vest, just quickly, their names are Ultramarine kilt and Ultramarine vest, which I don't love. I do think that it needs to be more specific, saying road sign jacket, because that is the name of the actual item itself. But look, it is what it is. I recommend getting the kilt over the jacket and over the helmet, and that is simply because the kilt is going to be used in the end game as well when you're tier 3 and you're running Metal Gear. whereas of course the helmet and the jacket will both be replaced eventually, whether it be by an actual jacket if you're roaming snow or metal chestplate. But look, they're both going for $3.05 each, and the kilt, in my opinion, is more valuable than the road sign jacket. So that is why I'll recommend investing in it. Also, just want to quickly mention as well, I think the heart on the road sign vest is quite cool. It was also on the Metal Gear on the chest plate. I just think it's a cool touch. Also, the skins don't glow in the dark, so just in case you are wondering about that, they don't glow in the dark. Overall, though, I'll recommend getting the kilt and then the helmet and then the vest if you want to invest in the vest, but I probably wouldn't really be investing in the road sign vest personally. All right, moving over to the weapons and tools. We only have weapons this week. We have the Chomped Crossy. We'll start off with that bad boy, going for $3.05. I just want to quickly point out, next Force Wipe, I'm pretty sure we're going to have that medieval rust thing come out where there's going to be medieval servers where you're prim locked at all times. So look, you guys don't have to worry anymore about getting AKs because now you actually can't get AKs. So nothing's really going to change for you, but we probably will get a new crossbow. So keep that in mind as well. We are going to have a 4-shot Crossy, which I do think that means the Crossy in general will be used less because of it, depending on how hard it is to get the other crossbow. If it is significantly harder and that crossbow's crap, then this Chomped Crossy and all crossbows will still be getting used more. But my main point is, because we are getting a new crossbow skin, it is going to limit the use of crossbows in general in the game if that crossbow is better than the standard crossbow. So that will also reduce the demand for skins overall for the crossbow. So it's just something you need to keep in mind. But look, moving back over to the Chomped Crossbow, overall I think it's an interesting skin. I like that it has the cutout on the main wings of the crossbow. I don't know what you want to call them. I'm not a bloody crossbow expert. I do think it's somewhat pay to win. I also do think the bite part that's welded on is honestly the worst part of the skin. If I had to critique the skin and say what to get rid of, it would just be that. And I think the rest of the skin looks good, but I just am not super keen on the bite thing. But overall, I actually like the crossbow skin. I think it's cool. I like the little red pieces of fabric. But $3.05, I'm not going to recommend investing in the Chomped Crossy off of the Rust Item store. I do think you could get it for cheaper off of the community market, whether you're buying it as a play skin or if you are trying to invest in it for whatever reason, then I'd recommend getting it off of the community market with a buy order instead, because I do think you'll be able to get it for cheaper off of there rather than buying it for its initial standard store price of $3.05 off of the Rust Item store. So not going to recommend investing in that off of the Rust Item store for this week. Alrighty, moving over to the big boy skin of the week, in my opinion, because this is #1 top seller in the entire store, not just the limited store. So we have the Deep Ruby AR going for $5.40. This is above center store price, and in its screenshots it looks kind of cool, but I did watch TGG's video just to check out how it looked in game before I'd go over this skin in my video. He likes it, but look, overall I'm honestly not super keen on it. I think it's just a little bit, I don't know, too much or a bit ugly or something. Something about it I'm not super keen on, but clearly the community does like it. It's the top seller, and it's $5.40. That is one thing you need to keep in mind. If you are to invest in it, I'd recommend trying to get it with a buy order off the community market, placing a buy order as early as possible. However, if you pick this up as a play skin, I also do think you could have it for a while and sell it and still make your money back, really. I don't think you're going to make a significant amount of money. I guess it depends on how long you want to hold on to it for, whether it be a year and you sell it next Christmas, then perhaps it might sell better then. Also, there is a chance the Deep Ruby set does become a collection and continues, which would, of course, increase the value slightly. But $5.40 is an expensive initial investment, so especially for an AK skin. So keep that in mind. I would recommend trying to place a buy order for the Deep Ruby AK, just because I do think that is going to be your safest route if you are trying to invest in the AK skin. AK skins are quite risky to invest in my opinion, because we have so many AK skins, so many nice AK skins that already exist, and also a lot of fan favorite AK skins that people really want. So just keep that in mind as well, because there is high demand for certain AK skins, and there is also a lot of AK skin, so it's pretty easy to just forget about an AK skin once it leaves Rusted and Store and goes to the community market. Deep Ruby AR, I do think it has potential to make you money, but I recommend getting it off the community market with a buy order just to maximize your potential profits. See if you can get it for slightly cheaper than the $5.40 that it's going for on the community market. Even if it's just 40 cents cheaper, that's still a W. Alrighty, moving over to the Reflector Python. This kind of reminds me of like the Black Lemonade from CSGO or CS2, whatever you want to call it now. $3.85 is what this is going for. Black Lemonade doesn't have purples in it, I don't think. I think it's just black and grey, but it just reminds me of it just because of the handle, I suppose. Nothing else really. But overall, it's an okay Python skin, but it's exactly that. It's just an okay Python skin. Once it leaves the Rusted Store and goes to the community market, I don't think anyone's going to remember that it even exists. Pythons aren't really used for that long anymore, just because there's so many good weapons in the game these days. I'm not saying the Python isn't a good weapon. The Python is a great weapon, but you may as well have a full auto weapon, get a Thompson, and you've got an AK essentially. Of course, you can get AK with the Python. The Python hits like a truck, but the Python is a little bit harder for some people to use because you have to be a little bit more accurate unless you're Deagle spamming it with, of course, the Python Counter-Strike reference. $3.85 is what the Python is going for. I'm not going to recommend investing in the Reflector Python off of the Rusted Store for this week. Moving over to the Starry Dream SAR, going for $3.05. This is a continuation of the Starry Dream set, where we have had an AK release, and that is down 24% on the community market. So it does show you the Starry Dream set isn't going to be super successful for weapons, and I do think that that is going to continue with the SAR skin. Overall, I'm not going to recommend investing in it. I think it actually looks okay just having a nice black skin, but not super keen on the ADS. I'm pretty sure it's got a front silver tip, so it's black. The ADS is black, but the top is a silver tip on the front iron sight, which I don't think is going to be super easy to see with. But yeah, look, overall, I'm not going to recommend investing in this skin anyway. I think it's actually an okay looking skin, especially with the ninja suit. Like, it looks nice with those black hand wraps, but I'm not going to recommend investing in the Starry Dream SAR off of the Rusted Store for this week. Alrighty, moving over to the deployables, we have the Black Diamond Sleeping Bag. This is a continuation of the Black Diamond set, which is another set that has been very successful. We have only 2 skins in the Black Diamond collection that are below Store price, that being the LR and the Custom SMG. But you do have to keep in mind as well that the Black Diamond hasn't had a deployable release yet. So we've only had weapons and clothing and armor. And so the Black Diamond Sleeping Bag is the first deployable to release for the Black Diamond collection. And it's starting at $3.85, so it's above Store price, and it is Store price for glowing deployables. But you do have to keep in mind as well, the Black Diamond Sleeping Bag isn't a glowing deployable. So overall, I don't think it's going to perform as well as what it's going for initially on the Rusted Store at $3.05, 85 cents for that matter. And I don't think that there is going to be a super high demand for it, because glowing deployables, especially sleeping bags, in your base are quite handy to have when it goes nighttime, and you can transverse your base a little bit easier. Also, these days we have a lot of free sleeping bags from Twitch. So I do think that that also will reduce the demand for sleeping bag skins a little bit. And the main ones that people are going to be looking for will be camoed ones, so you can grub and you can put like a green camo bag in the grass or the forest, white camo bag in the snow, for example, or your glowing deployable, so you can transverse your base a little bit easier at night if you don't have a torch or if you are just blind. So overall, I'm not going to recommend investing in the Black Diamond Sleeping Bag off of the Rusted Store. However, I do think it is actually quite a cool looking skin, especially for a non-glowing deployable. I think it's quite nice. So not going to recommend investing in it, but I do think it is a cool skin. All right, moving over to the second last skin of the week, we have the Ice Eye Garage Door. This is a continuation of the Ice Eye set, which has performed very poorly. Everything that has released for the Ice Eye collection is down from what it started at on the Rusted Store. We've had one other deployable, that being the Ice Eye door, sheet metal door skin, down 51%, followed by just some tools and the rock that are all down from 28% to 48%. So definitely not doing too well, the Ice Eye set. I do think that it's just a massive missed opportunity. The skin creator really needs to prioritize having that little hole where the iris should be of the I think this is meant to be a dragon or something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Of the eye, it should be a cutout. So you should be able to see through that. It should be a little cutout window that you can see through. This skin would be performing so much better, this collection. So definitely a missed opportunity. Hopefully the skin creator is watching, or at least hears this feedback and then tries to do it in the future, because I do definitely think that will make them more money, and that will also generate more profitability for people trying to invest in the skins as well. So skin creator, if you ever hear this, hopefully you can take that on. But overall, I'm not going to recommend investing in the Ice Eye Garage Door off the Rust Item store, because as I just said, none of the other Ice Eye stuff is performing well on the community market, and I think that this is going to follow in that path. In saying that, I also do think it's a cool skin. I just think it's just a missed opportunity with not having that window in the eye. Moving over to the final skin of the week, we have the Sunken Double Door going for $3.85, and this is a sheet metal double door skin that is glowing, so it is fine to be at the $3.85 that it is currently going for. However, its glow is quite basic, so you do have to keep that in mind. And it is also a continuation of the Sunken set, I suppose we'll call it now, where we have had a sheet metal door skin accepted in the game, and that is down 57%. So obviously people weren't super keen on that. And this is another skin where I think that the skin creator would have benefited from turning the actual windows into real windows that you can actually see through, instead of just being like little fake windows that you can't actually see through. So I think the 3D modeling of this, if you look at it in the Rust Item store or if you look at it in the workshop, is really impressive. And it is a shame that it gets flattened out a little bit by, or a lot by Rust in the game itself. Because that would have been just a crazy skin if you could see the actual 3D modeling that the skin creators put the effort into doing. Overall, I think the screenshots are cool in the Rust Item store, so props to the skin creator for that one. And I do think that the Sunken Double Door will perform better than the Sunken Sheet Metal Door. So I do want to be very clear, I do think it actually will perform okay. Because it is a double door skin and there is more demand for them, because we don't get sheet metal double doors that often. But its glow isn't it's not crazy, so I do think the Sunken Double Door will perform around its price that it's currently going for on the Rust Item store. So I don't really think you're going to be making money off of it if you buy it, but I don't really think you're necessarily going to be losing money off of it if you buy it as a play skin and sell it later. So overall, I'm not going to really recommend investing in it as an investment. But if you want to buy it as a play skin, I don't think you'll lose money. So that is what the Rust Item store is looking like for this week. This is what the top sellers is looking like. With a reminder, the Deep Ruby AR is in at number 1, followed by the Ice Eye Garage Door, it's a mouthful to say, and the Black Diamond Sleeping Bag. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and remember, have a skits one.